behalf of the organizers, I'd like to warmly welcome you all today to the SquareHub session conducted as part of the Spark Challenge 2025 and 2026. The Spark Challenge is more than just a competition. It's about empowering students to address the climate crisis through innovative engineering solutions while developing skills and mindset to take ideas from concept to real-world impact. And that's exactly what these SquareHub sessions are here for. They're specially designed to guide you through the entire business journey, from shaping your initial ideas and building them into solutions that can stand in the market, preparing you not only for the Spark Challenge, but also for the bigger journey ahead. We are honored to have with us this evening Mr. Kanishka Veeramunde, co-founder and director of SquareHub, Ms. Chamatkar Jayasekar, operations executive at SquareHub, and all the other distinguished guests.
Alright, so before we begin the workshop, we'll just do a very quick introduction of our team. Hi guys, I'm Chamatka, and over there we have Dr. Kanishka, and then Kanishka, say hi. And then we have Madhuranga at the back, the person who forcibly put you on the front rows. And then we have Hiba over here. Hiba, say hi to everyone. Okay, there you go. And then there's Nethmi at the back, and Anupama as well. Okay, so we are the team from SquareHub today who will be helping you out during the activities and also conducting the session. A bit of marketing for ourselves. We have different socials, we have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram and Facebook. If you guys are really interested in entrepreneurship, go follow us. We post about other workshops we do outside of when we go to companies or universities. We also have incubation, acceleration programs for startups. So if you guys are interested in that, please go follow us on the socials. Or you can always just search up SquareHub Belkey on any of these socials. Alright, so next up, Dr. Kanishka Veeramunde is going to speak to you all and give a brief about, or rather taste on what entrepreneurship is and give the premise to what we're going to do as well.
Good evening. Right, okay. So, tell me, who is the richest man in Sri Lanka? Okay, some name came from here. Dhammika Perera. Okay, Dhammika Perera. Any other names? Vishal Nanakka. Any other names? Any other names? Tangakka. Nanakka. Vishal Nanakka, okay. Any other names? I hear something, but I don't hear it live enough. What's the other name? So, Dhammika Perera was said, Vishal Nanakka was said. Who is the other name? Mahindra Rajapaksa. Could be. I think there's a disclosure going now. Okay. Right. Who is Asia's number one? Or rather the richest person? I don't think Vishal, Dhammika, or neither Mahindra still made it to Asia because we are a small country now. If it was, we were like India, probably yes. Who do you think the Asia's number one entrepreneur? Asia's number one entrepreneur. You guys already know that. Huh? Okay, tell me the story how Vishal Nanakka became number one in Sri Lanka. What was his story? How Vishal Nanakka became number one? What did he do to become number one entrepreneur or number one or the richest person in Sri Lanka? Any idea? With what has he become? Number one entrepreneur. So what are his businesses? LOLC. What else? Ishara Traders. Browns. What else? He has a lot of microfinance companies he has bought all over the world. But that is all, everything is coming under LOLC. What made him become number one person in Sri Lanka? It ties up to our ancient exports. Any idea? Spices. I haven't heard of Isharnanakara tied up with spices. What are the three exports in Sri Lanka, the ancient exports? Three economical contributions. Tea, rubber, coconut, right? So Ishara owns tea estates, which supplies as the biggest supplier to the entire world. Not in Sri Lanka, in Kenya. Right? So one of his diversified investments was to basically buy over Sri Lanka. Also they have brown school estates, they have Malaysia, they have bought in Kenya, and that made him to become the world's number one tea as a single conglomerate, number one exporter. That made him the biggest man. Right. Likewise with Asia as well. I know for sure you guys have ordered something from him. Jack Ma. Right. What do you guys know about Jack Ma? What are the numbers? His net worth is at the peak, it was $61.7 billion. Right. He has created 40.8 million jobs in 2018. Right. And he has 130 billion annual revenue. And active users in 2021, 1.2 billion. Right. Forget about all the numbers, but most important thing, 40.8 million jobs. 40.8 million families he would have basically contributed. So, he is the Asia's number one. Right? Okay. Sounds good. We'll listen to Jack Ma's story.
Not from, well-educated. I said I've tried 3 times for university. All failed for the last time. I didn't have a rich father. Not from, well-educated. I said I've tried 3 times for university. All failed for the last time. I went to the teacher's college, which was considered the 3rd or 4th class of my city. But I think that is the best university I've had. That's an encounter. I applied for Harvard for 10 times. All failed. And I think that is a life. It was so difficult at that time. I was so frustrated. Because I taught in the university, my paying $10 a month was not easy. Right? That's something's waiting for me. And I have to work hard to explain myself. That was the hardest years. And I never thought I was smart. Some people sit there and complain and say, "Oh, if I just slow down, complain, that's the only game." Because when everybody agrees, why is opposition lost? Because a lot of people don't agree. And we think this is the same country in front of a group of people working together. Now making sure the people working together and community groups, whether investors believe in this or not, whether your friends believe in it or not, whether your parents believe in it or not, that's not important. You believe it. Your team believe it. And work day and night on this. That's what it happens. Everybody in the same. Because we are stuck on the same line. The best assets you have is that you are you. Don't complain. Let the other people complain. Those people complain, those people who fail. Just think about how you can make things different. Use your own brain to think. Is that an opportunity inside? Is there anything I can do to make a difference? Think about this. And then when you think about this, start to do it. I saw a lot of people, young people, have fantastic ideas every minute, but in the morning they go to the office, sleep again. Really, people make an action to everyone, to any person. Tomorrow is new. You have to work very hard. I work for the others, I'll work for myself. And I choose the way working for myself. The working for myself, that is working for the society. You think for yourself, think like others, making sure you help others. Because only when the other people are successful, when the other people are happy, you will be successful. You will be happy.
Right. What's Jack Ma's story? What's the degree he got? His first degree. What's his first degree? I don't know whether he has any other degrees, but his first degree was in English language. Right? So this guy, with the degree, he goes and tries to apply for jobs. In another video it says he has applied even for KFC. They have rejected him. He had applied for the army. They have rejected because he's too short. Right? And the only job that he could do is teaching. And then after that, he got an opportunity to become a translator. Because in China, majority of 80-90% of people only can speak their mother tongue. They can't speak English. So he got an opportunity. First he went to South Africa, and then he was sent to US. Right. So no technological background, no engineering background, English degree he has. Right. So what he does is he goes there and he sees how people are using computers to share information. He gets an idea. What is the idea? If this grows, right, this could be one of the ways that China could reach the entire world. Because you can transfer information between people easily. The other mode is you have to do using press or TV or some sort of mechanism, but this is something which is going to come up. So what he does is, he goes back, I don't know why he selected the word Alibaba, he creates a portal called Alibaba. And he gets people, the Chinese manufacturers, to list things in this site. Now here's a big barrier, right? I said 90% of people are not known to English, right? So what he does is he gets translators to come and translate and list it in Alibaba. So it works fantastically well. People can now put, because China population is over 1 billion, so many new products are there, so many manufacturers are there, they all can now list their products in Alibaba, and Alibaba will take it to the entire world, right? It comes to the second barrier. Or on the first barrier. First barrier is, now you have your products nicely explained, you have this ceramics or this computer item, everything is nicely explained. Now a buyer from USA replies. What happens? The factory owner will never reply. He don't know English, he doesn't know what they gave in the email. So he will never reply. trading doesn't happen. His expectation that trading will happen, it doesn't happen. So he asked these guys, the factory owners, to go and employ these translators. Right? Because the translators can do the translation job. The translators get a brilliant idea. What is the brilliant idea? Right? They get an idea, oh, why not now? This guy doesn't know English, he will never reply. I will also create a site with a different bogus company name, and I will also put my contact details there, and I will publish that guy's product. So they also doing that, and then now the translators get the order, the original factory also gets the order, the original factory never replies, translator replies, they give their bank account, money comes to the translator, he shuts down his shop and he vanishes. Right? So it was a bad hit on Alibaba. Right? Alibaba was completely crashed because of these translators playing it around. Right? So he didn't give up. He came with the second thought, okay, let me avoid this. What will happen is Alibaba will act as escrow. That means Alibaba will accept the payment and ask a local bank to give the manufacturer a bank loan to produce, and then once the order is shipped, they will release the money to the local bank, so local bank will basically settle the whatever the loan. Right? So this way he encouraged the local community also to get engaged, the local banks to get engaged. Right? So Alibaba started handling it. That is the birth of Ant Financials. So he started doing this, and then eventually they were trying to create something good for the Chinese people. But the damage which happened by tarnishing the name of Alibaba, they could not completely come out of that. Right? So he was trying so hard, and then he decides, okay, I wanted to go to retail market, because Alibaba is container shipments. You order container, 40-foot, 20-foot containers. He wants to go to retail market. What does he create? AliExpress. Now, AliExpress also doesn't basically function because one is the language barrier. Second thing is people outside China would not trust a brand which is already have a mother brand which has the reputation lost. So they won't accept it. So there was less sales. What was his next strategy? To become so rich. He goes and basically start acquiring different regional e-commerce players. Right? One of his acquisitions was Lazada from Vietnam. So he acquired it for $3 billion. He acquired Lazada. They were the largest retailer, right? And in Sri Lanka, what did he acquire? Come on, you guys know that. You don't know Alibaba's company in Sri Lanka? There should be at least one person. You don't know Daras? So you don't know Daras is 100% owned by Alibaba? No? Wow. So Daras, they didn't acquire Daras, they actually acquired Time International, which is the parent company of Daras, which is in Pakistan. So they had Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So automatically when they acquired Pakistan, these two countries also came. So they rebranded the name as Daras. So one thing, if you go to lazada.com and daras.com, both sites looks the same. Right? And also I think AliExpress also, right? Most of the items which is in AliExpress can be ordered through Daras or Lazada. Right? So that was 2016-17. Okay, you guys need to tell me this answer. If you don't know this answer, find it in your phones, right? What is the most biggest sales day in a year? Which day is that? The biggest sale. Yeah, I see some of our answers. The biggest sales day. There are two sales days in a year. Not Taurus, not Christmas. So one is Black Friday, right? One is Black Friday. The other one is Very close, right? The other one is Cyber Monday. So both are happening in November. Cyber Monday is for electronics and the gadgets. And Black Friday is for basically the clothes and everything, right? So he challenges in 2018 and says, I'm going to beat the combination of both Black Friday and Cyber Monday, right? In 2008, Cyber Monday does about $9 billion. Black Friday does about $7 billion, right? Together, it's 16 billion. Alibaba launched a campaign with all the acquired e-commerce guys. Right? Guess the number. 36 billion. What did he do to make 36 billion on one day? On one day. So Black Friday and Cyber Monday, 2 different days. They combine into 16 billion and Alibaba does 36 billion in one day. What is that day? Either you guys know or you don't want to tell me. What is the date? When is Daras does their sales? 11/11. So he created the concept of World Singles Day, 11/11, right? Boom, one day, 36 billion in 2018. Right? That's on Google. I'm basically picking up the numbers from Google. Right? So that is where the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Failed 20 times, 20 job interviews he had failed, right? Some or other he made it on his own and he decides what to do. Now what happened to Jack Ma? Do you hear any more stories about Jack Ma? No, you won't. That's a political story. We'll end it from there about Jack Ma. Right, okay. So, how many of you want to become entrepreneurs? I was just telling about Jack Ma to get your interest. How many of you want to become entrepreneurs? Oh my God, 1, 2. Okay. Hey, when you're putting the hand, you put it up. Little bit up. No, okay. So you can put it down. So the first challenge you guys will have, you will be having very less people to work, because most of you all raise your hand. Right. Right. So first thing, entrepreneurship is not fair. Right? Statistically, it is proven if there are 100 people who wants to become entrepreneurs, right? How many will actually become? 10. Right? I know, even though you raise your hand, you want to become an entrepreneur, right? When you are in the final year, when you're done with your final exams, the parental pressure, the girlfriend's pressure, your cousin's pressure, auntie's, uncle's pressure, everything will come and you'll start finding a job. Right? But, right? The most important thing is not trying to become an entrepreneur, but to have the entrepreneurial mindset. That's the most important thing. Right? Out of probably my experience with Moratoa, out of one batch, there will be around 1 startup. There will be around 1 startup who will be successful. I'll give you a couple of names, right? How many of you know about Magic Bit? You know Migara, right? Yeah. So he's part of this program. So that is one of the startups which came out. Pay Here, right? Pay Here is one of the startups. Then 4Axis, not heard of? 4Axis is also one of the startups. I think 4Axis and Pay Here are in the same batch, right? So there is about 1 startup which comes. Every batch, that's the pattern which I've seen, right? So what I'm saying is, it's not for everybody. It's basically start off straight away from university, right? But if you give a try, and if you have that entrepreneurial mindset, in your career, there will be a day, there will be an opportunity for you to become an entrepreneur. By that time, you will be ready. By that time, you will be equipped, you will be knowledgeable with the skills, competencies, and also the network which you want to become an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is something which you can't teach in school. Right? So here with SquareHub and this partnership program with Spark, we are going to teach you. We are going to give you some of the building blocks. We are going to make you work in some of the frameworks which is available right now to think entrepreneurial. Right? So that will basically give you the DNA to become entrepreneurs. Right? So everybody will not basically have the chance to become an entrepreneur while you are in university. Right? You go work, wherever you work with an entrepreneurial mindset. Work with an entrepreneurial mindset, that will benefit you as well as the organization. So entrepreneurship is all about taking risk. It's all about taking risk. So there is another form of entrepreneurs called entrepreneurs who goes to organizations and they basically become the leaders of that organization. Like for example, John Keels. The guy who started John Keels has dead and gone a long time back. Right? But the leadership, right? Now they think in differently. They exited from all the estates. They started Cinnamon Life. They started investing in different sectors. That is entrepreneurial mindset. So we need people on an entrepreneurial mindset as well as entrepreneurs. But if you take a ratio, it's 1 to 9, right? So 9 people will work and 1 person will basically become an entrepreneur. Right? So the exercise or the activities which you are going to do will basically lead you first to become an entrepreneurial thinker. And second, we will also help you to become entrepreneurs. Right? The game I've done, I started my first startup at the age of 19. I think everybody here is more than 19, right? How many of you have startups? Nobody has started? A university is ample ground to have a startup. At least print t-shirts. You can start printing t-shirts and selling. That's a startup, right? So, at the age of 19 I started, failed. At the age of 21 I started, failed. At the age of 23 I started, still failed. And at the age of 26 I started, that also failed. And today I run a company which provides software for most of the banks in Sri Lanka. I started at the age of 34. So until age of 34, I was basically building my entrepreneurial capacity and the entrepreneurial mindset. Right? Today, we have built a very successful business. We have 180 people working. We provide almost the top 8 banks with their digital front end. And we do keep innovating every year. Right? So, to build that, you got to have experience, you got to have the base, you got to have that entrepreneurial mindset. Right? So, with that, I warmly welcome you to this cohort of Spark. Right? Take home is take that entrepreneurial spirit with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kanishka. Speaking of mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, there's also a different mindset we want you to bring to all the Spark SquareHub programs, right? So, this is also basically elements of the entrepreneurial mindset. Make sure you guys fail early and also learn early. It's okay to start with an idea that you might not be going through with and change your mind at the early stages rather than doing it 2-3 days before the competition. Okay, so because of that, we want you guys to really follow through all the take-home activities we give and clear the milestones as we go on. Okay, and of course, no idea is a bad idea. It's for you to review and debate and choose. Okay, so any idea can be evaluated So nothing's a bad idea. Just be yourself. You don't have to try to be something else. You don't have to be like Jack Ma, you don't have to be like your friend next to you. Just be yourself. And because this is a group activity, it's a group challenge, no idea is my idea. It has to be the group's idea. This is, I mean, if you stick to my idea, that's the easiest way to fail. Because first of all, the idea you decide to stick with, your entire group has to believe in it and want to work for it. It's not one person's idea and everybody is slaving for it. Okay? So it has to come from the whole group. And just have fun. That's it. Before we get into the other activities, I just want to quickly see where, because this time we open Spark for the entire university, I just want to have an idea of where you guys are from, like as in like the faculties. How many of you all are from the engineering faculty? Hands up. Oh my gosh, okay. Pretty much everyone's from the engineering faculty. Alright. Any other faculties, hands up? Business? Okay. Okay, so these 4 people in the room might be gold, okay? Make sure you pick them for your groups. And then science? Oh, you don't have science, sorry. What other faculties do you guys have? I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not from this. Medical? Is there anyone from medical? Damn, you guys have time if you're here for with medical degree. What else? IT? Nice. Anything else I'm missing? Arts? No, what? Architecture, right, architecture. Okay, nice. That's it, right? Hopefully, I told everything, but okay, nice to know. Also, engineering, just out of curiosity, how many of you all are from ENTC? Majority. Okay, that makes sense. This challenge is originating from ENTC, so I expected there to be a lot from ENTC. That's fine. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, I mean, I did say this during the very first online session we had, but we'll be having 6 sessions in. I think it's 5 sessions in total. So we have the foundation. That's today's session, and then we have ideation. That's an online session. And we have assessing and validation also online. The next time we will have a physical session will be for session 4. Okay, we might combine 4 and 5 as well. We don't know that yet. But if not, it will be session 4 physical and session 5 online. And the business pitch is also most probably online, maybe physical. Okay? Right. So, stage 1. What we're essentially going to do is look at team composition, how do you form your team and how do you establish the team. And secondly, we are just going to break down the problem and start thinking about the problem. Okay, we are not going to start thinking about ideas or solutions today. Today and until the next session is going to be all about figuring out the problem. So the first session, because I know because of the capacity of the auditorium, we don't have all the members of the group. So most of the things I'm going to say today, you'll have to go and repeat it with your own groups as well. I hope there are representatives from all the groups. You guys have to be clear, and this might sound silly, I know, okay? But it's very important to first know, walking into the challenge, where you stand as an individual. What do you need from the challenge? Or what are you expecting to get here? Okay? That's the most important thing. Are you here for the cash? That's fine. That could be a reason, right? Or are you here to learn about entrepreneurship? Are you really here to make friends? I don't know, it could be different reasons, right? So figure out what your priorities are with the Spark Challenge, right? Because that's going to be important and that's going to decide how much effort you're going to put to this. And that's very important for the rest of your teammates. And after you figure out what you need and what you are going to commit to the challenge, then as a group, you need to figure out what you guys want. Like, are you so dead set on being the first? I think that's how everyone should step into the challenge, but it's okay if you guys just want an experience, right? As a group, decide what's really important. Are you just here to learn? Are you here to for sure win this thing? Are you here to make a business out of it somehow? Is this the first step to that? Okay? Everyone in the group also has to be in the same page about what you want from the challenge. Again, I'm saying this because that will decide everybody's contribution. In the middle of the challenge, you can't have someone dying for it and the other person saying, okay, this challenge is not a big deal for me, I just want to pass my exams. Okay, so make sure that everybody's on the same page. Okay, so just a little bit about building an ideal team, right? Anyone knows about the Bell-Bin's index or Bell-Bin team roles? Anyone? Hands up if you know. No one? Oh, I thought they teach it in engineering faculties at least. Okay. Right, so this guy called Bell-Bin decided that, as with any other theory, somebody decided something is the case, right? So, but this actually has been proven and tested and is being widely used. There are 3 types of people that you need in a team. Okay? There are action-oriented roles, there are people-oriented roles, and thought-oriented roles. Basically, action-oriented people wants to get things done. People-oriented people cares about the people in the group. They are the ones who essentially collaborate. Keep the collaboration going. And thought-oriented people are the creative thinkers or problem solvers. Yes, someone can be more than one, but most of the time an individual is inclined towards either one of these 3. Okay, so in the action-oriented roles also, there are, for each type of role, there are 3 different categories, right? So there's, in the action-oriented, you have the shaper. Usually a shaper would take a leadership role. They push the team forward to meet the deadlines. They push everyone to somehow achieve the goals and targets. So that's a shaper. And then an implementer wants to somehow turn the thoughts into action. We all know that in groups there are people who all talk but no action, right? This is the opposite. Whatever thought, they want to see it happen. They'll try to make it happen. So that's an implementer. And then there's the complete finisher. Again, very important. These guys are the ones who follow through with the timeline. They want to get things done before the deadline. Okay? Again, you can be more than one type. Okay, keep that in mind. Of course, you won't have 9 people in your group. You'll have maybe 4 to 5. So make sure at least there's one person inclining into one type of role. And then in people-oriented role, again a coordinator would also generally take a leadership role. This is the guy or girl who's going to assign tasks to members, make sure everybody is doing something and doing their work. And then you have the team worker. This is the person who's in charge of, or rather, this is the person who would go and see if everybody is doing okay, if everybody is in fact collaborating, if nobody is left out. Okay, so this guy is mainly responsible for keeping the collaboration going. And then you have the resource investigator. Maybe you've heard them as the personality hire on TikTok, right? They might not be doing much, but they're so good at finding another way to do it. Maybe like get the research done or get your senior to do something for you. You know, that kind of person. They're very good at finding resources some way or the other. So, there's that. And then with thought-oriented roles, The plant is usually the creative thinker. They produce a lot of good ideas and they like to solve problems. And then you have the monitor evaluator. They like to evaluate and debate and assess problems or assess ideas. And then you have the specialist. This is someone who would have a very specific subject, specific knowledge. They'll have a lot of knowledge on a specific area that you guys might want to use for the challenge. Okay? Try to get at least, like I said, if all the members are action-oriented roles, you might get something done, but it might not cut it. Okay? It might not be a great idea. If everybody is thought-oriented, you'd have great ideas, but nothing's done. If everybody's people-oriented, you'd be forever debating on what to do. Okay? So you have to make sure your team is balanced in that way. The next thing you have to figure out is what really your team values and what kind of culture you want in the team. These are very obvious things, guys. Respect each other's views, be honest when communicating, take accountability, don't say, okay, I forgot and then disappear, right? These are very common things and I know all of this already happened in your university groups. You guys have worked in groups, so take that learning also and make sure you follow through with this challenge because it's a whole 1 year. It's not easy to be consistent for 1 year. Okay, so make sure you guys have a strong foundation now itself, otherwise it's not going to work. Because I've seen a lot of groups that start out strong in the previous years just drop out. And that's a waste. Okay? And very confidently I can say last year the top 3 groups that won the challenge, I saw all of their faces in the sessions. Like at least if most of them can't attend sessions, at least 2 or 3 of them would be in the sessions. They were very active and they kept that team spirit going throughout. So it's very important. Again, this may seem very obvious, but I know this is exactly what you're going to do. Don't make teams just based on friendship. Okay? It's a tough challenge and it's a high reward challenge as well. So if you want a really good chance at actually winning it, make sure you have the right team composition. Like I said, don't overload one skill set. Don't only have the technical guys and have nobody who can communicate. Don't have only communicators and no good ideas or technical skills. Right? And if you just go based on friends, that's probably what has happened. So I don't know if you can change the team composition just yet, but maybe give it a try if you want. Okay. Right, so basically the equation is you get a good team by having diversity in terms of skills and in terms of mindset, having clear roles, define what your roles are in the team, have a leader appointed. Now next time when I ask, we won't do that this time around. Next time when I ask, okay, group leaders, tell me this, you can't be debating then who the group leader is. Decide that now itself. Okay, this is one take home. Make sure you know who the group leader is. Make sure you know who is going to be reminding about the deadlines. Okay, so assign the roles. And of course, you all also have to have a shared purpose or a common goal. Okay. Right, so that was a very, very quick session on what your team should look like. If it doesn't look like that now, you might want to rethink your choices. And now we have a small group activity. I know the groups that you made are not there. So what you're going to do is, one group is going to be one row. Okay, so the people in your row will be your group for this activity. So this side is separate and this side is separate. So that row is one group. This entire row is one group. Okay, so now people from SquareHub, they'll be distributing the material for each row. Alright guys, I'll explain what you need to do and then you guys can pick a spot and get to work. Alright? you have to make the tallest tower. The tallest tower out of only stuff we have given, only the things we have given. Okay? I think each group has about 10 balloons. You have to use all 10 balloons. If you have defective balloons or if it bursts, there is a pile here. You can come and pick one for everyone, everything you burst or you find it's not working, right? So, simple rules. Yeah, at the end, like when we come and inspect, you can't have 12 or 11 balloons, okay? You have to have 10 balloons. If it's less, I don't mind, but can't be more than, right? So, few rules, just use what's given. That's all you can use. The time limit is exactly 15 minutes when I start the timer. And you can't, the tower you make can't be against a chair or a wall or anything. It can only touch the ground. Get jack the bag. It has to be on the ground. That's it. And you can't also be keeping your leg like this, nothing like that. Everybody has to be standing away from it. It should be standing on its own. Alright, clear? Any questions? Okay, let me set the timer. Alright guys, 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, you can go find a spot. Just by looking at these towers, okay, I feel like you all also look around and help me out on this. We have to measure this because I can't say how tall that and this and that is. We have a rolling tower also. And then we have to go and check that one and also that. Oh, is this one really? Is this really tall? Yeah. They're big, no? Okay, that is not okay. This side is okay. Give us a few minutes to actually measure the length, okay? Who's the tallest guy in this room? Because we might need help. Okay. Mali, can you help us to measure the towers? I don't think any of our guys are that tall. Madhuranga, you can get his help to measure. I don't think we can do that alone. Oh my god, it's taller than him. It's like taller than when he extends his arm. That's insane. Why did I? The other one is taller, eh? You could touch the top of it and then make this one. Yeah. And then this stuff last. We are going to be the reference scale for today. Almost, no, but I still think the other one is taller. Okay. The team who made that tower all the way near the exit on the right, can you guys stand up? Oh, it's also the person, the tallest person. Awesome. Okay, makes sense. So looks like they had an unfair advantage, guys. The others are tall enough. Okay, everyone, a big round of applause. surface of things. Alright, I hope, except for the part that you guys are stressing over and newspaper and new calls, I hope you all learned something about teamwork. I saw that some groups were struggling. Guys, listen, you can celebrate later. Okay. I saw that some groups were struggling because they spent so much time on planning, but they didn't have time to execute their plan. So that those groups had a lot of thinking-oriented people and no one to execute it. And then I saw some groups just going straight to it. No plans, nothing. Somebody is rolling the papers already and started without any discussion. So that's no thinking and people. They were just going ahead with finishing the task. So see, that's the importance of having a balanced group. There has to be planning, there has to be some ideas, and that's not enough. You should also have people to say, okay, now enough of thinking, we should go on with it and finish it, right? Okay, so the very last thing for today is just identify, or rather going through our problem statement for the Spark Challenge. Or is this towel blocking your view? Yes, can we move it to that side? Thank you. The others are not tall enough to block you. That's right. Yeah, that also works. Alright, so the Spark Challenge, in the Spark Challenge, you're supposed to come up with a new product or a service. Again, it doesn't have to be a tangible product, it could also be a service with technology involved. Honestly, it's up to you, right? You have to come up with a product or service that helps to mitigate the climate change problem. You will have other sessions that talk about climate change and the sustainable development goals, but the theme of the Spark Challenge is to solve the climate change problem. Somehow, whatever you're coming up with, the idea has to, at the end, help solve climate change and also relate to the SDGs. Okay, so this is probably the most important thing you have to do before you come to the next session. First thing is, now climate change sounds like just an environmental problem, but it has a lot of different things that affect and create climate change. So first thing you need to do is you have to choose a few industries your group members are interested in. Okay? So when I say industries, it could be energy, it could be education, it could be agriculture, right? First, pick an industry you guys are genuinely interested in. Okay, just because it sounds fancy or just because it can be easy, don't pick that. Pick it because it's interesting for you. And then for each of the industries, say when I say few, I'm talking about maybe 2 or 3 maximum, right? And then for each of those industries you choose, pick a couple of pain points, okay? It doesn't have to directly relate to climate change. It has to have some impact in mitigating it, okay? So then you need to find some pain points in those industries. For example, if it's energy sector you went with, you can go for how the solar cell right now is not at the optimum efficiency. That could be the pain point. If you go for education, you can go into lack of accessibility for education and then relate it to SDGs by saying people don't have the knowledge about, related to climate change by saying there's a knowledge gap about climate change. So something like that, right? So whatever the industry you pick, the next thing is identify 1 or 2 pain points. Once you identify that one big pain point, try to break it into smallest possible pieces. So how do you do that? By asking why 5 times. Why is the solar cell not efficient? Okay, and then why is whatever the circuit or capacitor you're using it not enough? Why is there, why does it heat up and then reduce efficiency? And then you go on, so every single why, so for the first why you get that answer, and then for that answer ask why again, right? Ideally the practice is you go like that 5 times and that will break down the problem to the most basic level, right? But there's lots of other strategies to do this, okay? So basically your big problem, break it down into smaller pieces, okay? Because most of the time you can't at the first go address the entire big picture. You will have to go by small parts at first, right? So identify that smaller sections. And then look at the existing solutions for those pain points. What is there in the market? Because remember, this is an innovation challenge. So you have to come up with something new. If you're saying something you already know, that's not going to cut it, okay? So you have to know what already exists to come up with something new, right? So research about the existing solutions. That will also give an idea of what the gaps are, okay? At the end, somehow, you have to be left out with maximum of 5 problem statements, okay? Specific problem statements, nothing broad, very specific problem statements, okay? So, again, you don't fix yourself on one thing just yet. It's way too soon, okay? Make sure, and of course, moving forward, you also have to have backup. So, might as well get that sorted out now itself. So, at least come up, or like a maximum of 5 or 3 to 5 problem statements, come up with that. And come for the next session with those problem statements in mind. Do your research in the area you decided on. So, research on the processes, the problems, the pain points, the existing solutions, research all of that, but come to this session with an open mind. Don't try to think of answers, okay? Because the next session is about ideation. Don't ideate before it, okay? So the only thing you need to find out by the next session is your problem. That's it. All clear? Any questions there? Okay, alright guys. So the next session will be online and all your team members should be there because we'll have a breakout session and the next session will involve your teams working together. So make sure your team is there and it's online so there can't be any excuse for people to not show up, right? So yeah, remember, establish your team goals, research on the topics that you're interested in and come up with 5, maximum of 5, minimum of 3 problem statements that you might want to solve, but not ideas, just problems. Okay? Alright, thank you so much guys for joining us today. You have been a good crowd. Keep up the same energy and enthusiasm for the challenge. I hope to see all of you in all the other sessions. Thank you and good night.